Previously, on keeping up with the Kenya Kwanza government.
So wakati watu wanaamua kwamba tumechoka na hii serikali na mulichagua wenyewe.
For months now, President William Ruto and his ever-loyal orchestra featuring his battalion of state loyalists, the KDF of the Kenya Defence Forces and the National Intelligence Service Chief Noordin Haji have been belting out the same tired tune. Ruto can only be removed through the ballot in 2027.
Alafu unasema must go. That must go must be done according to the constitution. Si ni kweli?
Unasema Ruto aende. Aende alafu nani ifanyike?
Waruke juu, waende chini, waende kando. Hakuna penye Ruto anaenda. Ama ni aje?
Same lyrics, same melody, same barely concealed panic.
Mbele pale Ruto aende aweke Gachagua. Sasa Ruto aende, Kindiki aende abaki pale. Baadaye Kindiki aende weke mtu mwingine. Hakuna haja.
One would ask, why the sudden harmonic convergence? What ghost is haunting State House at midnight? Are they catching the scent of something not so constitutional brewing in the air?
However, we must remember that intelligence work by its very nature cannot always be loud. It cannot always explain itself. And yet in a democratic state, silence must never be mistaken for impunity.
Let's not forget, if there is one thing that sends Ruto's inner circle into a full-blown PR seizure, it is phrases like Ruto must go, one-term president, or heaven forbid, occupy State House.
Lakini mtu asianze kututisha hapa ati mimi nitahakikisha ati huyu Ruto atakuwa one-term president. Modo kuirwa kura ni modo haha niwe guoko iguru.
And to them, these are not just slogans. They are incantations of doom.
Washenzi wengine wanasema ati Kasongo Ruto must go. Kumba nina zenu hao ambao wanasema hivyo. Kwani amekaa kwa kiti ya mama yako ama baba yako? Amekaa kwa kiti yetu sisi na tutamchagua, tutamrudisha with 99% from the Eastern province, hapa Eastern wafugaji wote, na nyinyi mtaniahidi mtanipa mimi 99% ama 100%. Mtanipa ngapi?
And when such dangerous thoughts are voiced by individuals with even a whisper of influence, the government doesn't wait to negotiate. First comes the carrot, often disguised as a lucrative appointment or government contract. But if the target proves allergic to bribes, the stick follows swiftly. Cue the DCI, corruption charges, and a symphony of state-sanctioned intimidation.
There is a meeting that was held last week, a meeting that involved serious stakeholders in this country, and they were asking how Babu Owino can be put down, how Babu Owino can be managed. Some proposed that Babu Owino should be approached, bought, bribed, so that he can support the government. Some came with an idea that Babu Owino should be dealt with perpendicularly, that they should send the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to our offices to come and besmirch the good name of Babu Owino.
CDF Charles Kahariri is now moonlighting as the latest soloist in the Ruto Can Only Be Removed in 2027 anthem. At a recent visit to the National Intelligence and Research University, flanked by none other than NIS boss Noordin Haji, Kahariri dropped what sounded more like a campaign slogan than a military statement. Anyone dreaming of removing the president before 2027 should wake up and read the constitution.
So people wonder, kwa nini jeshi kazi inafanyika vizuri, nini. Some of the things is that there is tolerance. We understand we are Kenyans first. And this is something that Kenyans will need to come to terms with. That unless we love our country first, we will soon have no country, and there's no spare. Not the way you carry a spare wheel in the boot of your car, hakuna. So we can't have anarchy in the country, first and foremost. So even as people exercise their rights, it should be within limits and within bounds, such that we cannot allow us to exercise our rights to the extent of tearing apart the country.
In a not so subtle jab, he added that Kenyans who voted for the president should learn to live with the same president they voted for.
So wakati watu wanaamua kwamba tumechoka na hii serikali na mulichagua wenyewe, alafu mnasema must go. That must go must be done according to the constitution. Si ni kweli?
In other words, learn to live with the same problem you chose. Don't complain. But Kahariri wasn't done. He assured the nation, perhaps more so his boss, that the military remains staunchly apolitical. Their job, he insisted, is to protect the government of the day and the constitution, not to meddle in political drama.
So this issue of how politics goes and all that, by the way, the military, one of the core values is that we are apolitical. We don't support any political side. We defend the constitution and the government of the day. Yeah, so that's why people question kwa nini military inakuwa deployed. We have a responsibility. We took an oath to defend the constitution, to defend the republic, and that's why it is necessary that the.
Yet one can't help but wonder, why does the CDF need to say this at all? Why now? Well, rewind a week ago. The KDF was all over the headlines, thanks to none other than Raila Odinga, who casually dropped a political grenade that he saved President William Ruto from a potential military coup during last year's Gen Z protest. A bold claim, and one the military didn't take lightly.
To the extent that the article referred to a military coup, I can only say that it is indeed baseless, it is inaccurate and reckless.
Was Raila hinting that the same KDF that proudly claims loyalty to the government was at some point contemplating insubordination? That the commander-in-chief was teetering on the edge of betrayal from his own barracks?
That these people wanted to overthrow you, an allegation from outside, and you are not denouncing the statement from your core principle, because Raila is not a CIC, but he has made the allegation that the people you are drinking tea together in the morning, they had a plan against you. So whatever that comes out of it, the first person who could have denied the statement, it is Ruto, because he is the army himself. He is the person that these people are under. They are taking instructions from him. So he's the one that should have stood with his army, telling his army, or telling the Kenyan people, my army is royal. My people are royal. They cannot be able to do this. And I have a good system that is trustworthy. And the Kenyan, I want to assure you, our army does not have bad behaviors. But instead, it is Kahariri who did the statement, and they even threatened to go to court.
Naturally, the military scrambled to deny the coup whispers. And now, barely weeks later, the CDF is on stage assuring everyone that the president is safe, sound, and going nowhere until the ballot says so, or the constitution, and not protesters on social media.
Alafu mnasema must go. That must go must be done according to the constitution. Si ni kweli?
But here is the real tea. Was Kahariri's dramatic soliloquy a thinly veiled rebuttal to Raila's coup claims? A love letter to State House assuring Ruto that the boys in uniform aren't sharpening any knives behind his back?
We defend the constitution and the government of the day, duly elected by the people.
Or was it a nervous PR play to keep the military's reputation above water in the murky sea of Kenyan politics? Well, when you see generals start making political declarations and the intelligence Caesar tags along for moral support, then you must know that the political temperature is more than just warm. It is simmering.